Great to have you all here. Last but not least, I'm talking about social technical serious game for people, BIM, IoT, and lean construction. It sounds like an endeavor to tackle all of these issues, but as the TU Munich just has shown, one thing is very important: to involve humans and in particular students in learning, because only those will help us change the construction industry. Research motivation. I always start out with safety because my particular research area is related to safety. And we have a lot of accidents and injuries, and one way to prevent them is using BIM and rule checking to design out those hazards. However, this won't last long. If we go to construction and expose workers to safety hazards, a lot of still get injured. So we are focusing there on close calls, accidents that almost led to an injury and a fatality, but tackling the bottom of the pyramid, safety pyramid, helps us hopefully improve construction well-being. Now, safety is also linked to productivity in one way. The fewer accidents we have, the higher our productivity is. So, meaning in brief, if you walk around and have debris lying on the ground, you probably won't walk as fast as possible as you could. Now, proving this chart up there has been done empirically, so industry has valued a lot of data over time, but it takes us a whole lot of an effort to collect that data and analyze it. That's where we thought about implementing maybe something that can automatically collect data and analyze it and help people improve accordingly. So a fundamental question is, how do we currently plan, measure and control processes, in particular on construction sites? So this is the theme for today. Now, here is the lean construction approach. In theory, assembling steel or steel girders should look like that. On the right, you see an image where we typically conduct our research, so capital facility projects where we invest a lot of money, where people invest a lot of money. But in reality, it looks like spaghetti. Yeah, people high up in the air, they traverse and expose themselves to falls. And yeah, so it's very hard to control. Question here again is, how is such data collected? In this case, in 2006, a group from Colorado probably has observed that construction site, maybe taking video sequences and draw the patterns afterwards by hand. Otherwise, they wouldn't have come up with a chart on page 348 in this research document. But this two images, they inspired my research that I've been conducting for the past 10, 15 years. Now, coming to the approach of lean construction, how is lean actually being taught in the academic environment as well as in the construction industry? Well, we have models, we have simulation games where we, like you can see here at the bottom, a physical model where you organize and organize the work areas, and you try to eliminate waste step by step. You can also do this, as seen in the top image, using BIM, creating work packages, designing these work areas or planning these work areas by certain square footage, and allocating resources to it. And once you then follow the construction schedule, you typically should meet it, but in reality it does not. So that's what people experience in these lean construction simulation games. And a big problem in these simulation games is that feedback is always shared among the participants, which is nice. Construction is a business of humans, and we should keep it that way probably. However, data that is manually collected and shared is often subject to false interpretation, or is erroneous, or maybe just subjective by feelings. So this makes the impact of these games very unstructured, less effective. Now, on the other side, what a lot of people like to have is, we have just heard it, progress monitoring construction sites, tracking resources. It's not just about the physical structure as built. You can use drones, photogrammetry, videogrammetry, whatsoever. You also want to probably put tags on humans, and certain countries allow that. They actually do this. And you can monitor where they go. A problem is still indoors versus outdoors. I'm not going into the details. GNSS or GPS doesn't work indoors, obviously. Ultra-wideband, Bluetooth, RFIDs, whatsoever, they all have their limitations, and probably will not be a technology by itself that solves this problem of indoor location tracking. It will be a bundle of technologies that will eliminate each other's disadvantage or limitation. Now, what's our research framework? Very brief. We have a construction site. As I said before, we want to use BIM and rule checking wherever as much as possible to come up with safe work areas. We want to allocate this information to the trades. These trades should be able to use handhelds, mobile devices, variables to report back feedback. Sensors may even collect data autonomously, and this is being analyzed and fed back to the workers with valuable information. We have construction management. By my own education, I'm construction management. We need to be on the job site to make changes quickly. And obviously, once we have made good decisions or probably bad decisions, we have to learn from it. There's a big focus on our research there as well. We heard it throughout the day. There is virtual reality, augmented reality, useful tools we can even use with Forge on training workers even more, but I'm not going into those details. Again, to close the circle, collecting information, hopefully autonomously and in high quality, can help us feed back into the design of the next project and make it even better. Now I'm showing you what we have developed over the past couple of years, and it's probably not rocket science, but it's the first step to actually expose our students to a BIM, IoT, lean construction platform that has not been around, at least in the academic environment. So we have silos that exist in BIM, IoT, and lean construction. These things haven't been well tied together. If you go on construction sites, who's using mobile field devices, variables? Very, very few companies, if you look around, at least here in Germany. Ask yourself why. Why is this happening? TU Munich, Sebastian, I think, said it. It was, we don't educate those kids in using these technologies, and that's a big problem, in my opinion. We have to get them used already, maybe already in high school, or at latest at universities. Here's an overview of the lean simulation games. We see here there's several around. All of them that I have been exposed to and practiced in the construction industry are focusing on lean construction only. There's, in the simulation game itself, there is no BIM component and no IoT component, and we try to actually solve this. Now here you can see our approach. The content of our game basically involves one product. It's not a house, it's a Lego airplane, because it was just there and it's cheap. And 4 trades assemble a plane. It gets divided up into, you all have played Lego probably. There's 64 steps to complete that plane, and each trade basically does about 15 steps. We have one warehouse where the material is located. You can see this here in the middle image. There are some boxes, they're already prepared. People can pick it and then go to a room, a physical room. So that's the difference to the typical simulation games. Typically they played on a table. Here in our case, they have to actually go to a workspace like in reality and take their box, empty it, and actually assemble their components, then come back, go with the next box in their color to the next room, etc., while the next trade comes in and builds the subsequent pieces. So this is how it's done. We have 3 play rounds. Typically, these lean construction simulation games have several rounds of play. In the first, you don't do much. Pretty much you play as you like. You see a lot of waste. And the second round, you help improve it. In this case, in our case, we wanted to use IoT as a data collection tool to collect data that they probably would have not been aware of. And we presented them with that data after they first had a chance to talk to them themselves. So this is what I will explain next. So the learning objective here is students should learn using these technologies, actually contribute by developing a model and dividing up the workspaces. They had done this previously, but during the game they used these variable devices we designed, the apps we created, the link to the Raspberry Pi server, as well as to Forge, etc., for visualization. That's what we have done, and that's basically the learning objective. Here's the workstations. You see here 6 workstations in different colors. I want to note that we have one room in round 3. Where is this? Oops. In round 3, it has been made dark, and this walkway path was closed in the 3rd round, just to expose them to some random events that can happen in construction. But literally, in round 1, they had the warehouse here, and every time they had to walk to their workstation, assemble a part, their parts, come back, pick up the next, go to the next version, and so on, and so on. I hope you understand it. Now this is what it looks like. Here is the warehouse. Actually, this is the warehouse in round 2 and 3. Here we had a real-time data visualization using Forge. The model was uploaded, and it showed in real time the location of the trades on that floor you have just seen in the model. What you also can nicely see are the boxes where the material has been provided. You see the smartphones. They have yellow and green. Green means you have been recorded, or you are being recorded as you walk, and as you approach your workstation, you actually get recognized by an NFC tag that's embedded at the workstation. So that's kind of the principle we have been following. Here you see a video, hope you can see it. In a very few seconds, the green trade is currently at the upper left. He has left this area, which pretty much means the blue one, who's next in line, can actually go to this workstation. Here we do some scientific stuff, some ground truth measurement by hand, and now he moves. This is changing now to green, and he is actually on the way to that workstation. You will see in a second the green trade returning. By the way, this is the second round, because they have observed in the first round that they lose a lot of time by waiting for the trade to return. So anyway, you see here they've seen the green trade returning, so that's how they saved some time. And now you can see that trade assembling the airplane step by step. According to the plan, I will show you in a second that we can actually measure the learning curve. Everybody talks about the learning curve. Wow. But in reality, can you show it to me? I'll show it to you. So this is super nice. Here you build the plane. Once you have done and assembled your pieces, you actually sign out and return with your box to the warehouse, and then pick up your next blue box. And we have come up with safety vests. Somebody provided us. I should have used Autodesk safety vests. We got them, by the way, Philip. Sorry for that. And we caps, so this made it a bit fun. Here you sign out. Again, this is for the ground truth measurement, and your way on the way back. Obviously, the user experience here can be improved if you attach that to the safety vest somehow. Here you see the other trade working, and here you see already the red trade coming and going to that previous workstation of the blue trade. Now, here the results, the black curve is just the work time. This is the learning curve of all of the trades. It shows you that after 3-4 times doing the same task, you pretty much got it how to assemble these pieces. What also can be observed is the yellow trade. I took a picture here. I pixeled his face because he was embarrassed somehow and asked me to pixelate his face. You can see here, the yellow trade had issues in the beginning. Probably he was not aware. I felt somehow he was tired. But anyway, our data afterwards proved that he is in a difficult situation. And actually, we were able to see that at the warehouse. While all other trades have been almost finished, except the red one, I guess, the yellow trade is still at the workstation too. It was fascinating to see this, to realize this observation. Here you see the travel time. You can record the travel times, things that haven't been recorded so far. I'm not saying that we have to do this every day out there on the construction site, but you could do it once in a while to get workers interested in how technology develops. And we have the wait time. And in particular in round 1, wait times were very long as the trades couldn't immediately proceed because they had to wait until the trade had returned to their warehouse. Here we see the work time in play around 2. We measured somehow that IoT gives a productivity improvement of about 5% while reducing travel and waiting times. And the reason is the Forge allowed us to visualize where the center of gravity of the work actually has been. And that allowed the trades to actually relocate the warehouse to that center of gravity. So that was the way how they reduced travel and waiting times. There was, by the way, just one defective product versus in the first round, all planes had a defect. Yeah, we were able to record that as well. Here you see in round 3, one of the workrooms was actually made dark, so it was a particular handicap for the workers to work in a dark environment where they should not work. And we were able to measure the impact. It increased by about 80%. And the travel path also largely increased the time to finish. So things that obstruct workers have impact on productivity. You can prove it. So lessons learned. It's very important to expose students, every generation of students, with the latest and greatest in technological developments. We are not doing this. At TU Munich, Ruhr University in Bochum, and some other great TU Berlin, we are doing this. But in most construction management departments around the world, we don't have this opportunity. And we have to focus on it because we have to change the way we practice. We actually work in our construction industry. This is one way. And in lean construction, people often talk about machines, processes, and material, methods, and machines. But the most important is actually the human capital. Yeah. So we should invest much, much more in human capital than we do in technology. Anyway, that's it. Thank you.